we've got going on right now, Patrick, we'll swing over here if we can see right here. So we've got people who are in the way of the state police right now who are trying to clear East Market Street here right in front of the library at this moment in time. Another big question here too, Sharon, is how do police let this get to this point in time? I mean, we had so many, I don't know what you saw, but fights just breaking out between people.
I actually saw several fights. I had people walking up to me because they saw that I had a photographer with me, and they said, where are the police now? Why aren't they breaking in with this? And it was at that moment we actually saw some Virginia state policemen running across a back parking lot grabbing what looked like basically go bags, and I thought they are about to do something. And then we saw them up on a roof. So I think that while a lot of people thought they were slow to react, they did shut it down before it even got started. Well, and before, I haven't seen any arrests, I will say that. I heard all the announcements that if you do not leave, you will be arrested. I wonder if that's what they're gearing up for right now, because as you see, they donned their riot gear. Some of them even donned gas masks while in the park. I saw that.
I think the people I've talked with so far this morning have just been in disbelief and in awe that this was able to happen. And I think we too were in awe of how quickly this became a gathering. I mean, I was down on the ground here at 9 o'clock this morning, and we already had people who were part of the Unite the Right rally already here. We had counter demonstrators who were already here. Police, everybody ready to go. I mean, Emancipation Park was full of police the entire time when we got there.
Yeah, they were on the outskirts. They were inside the park. Not too many police officers down on the street, which is why I think a lot of those fights broke out down there.
East Market Street is being cleared right now by Virginia State Police in riot gear here on Market Street as police declared an unlawful assembly for the Unite the Right rally that was set to happen in Emancipation Park. That happened shortly before that rally was set to get underway. The park full of demonstrators, and then surrounding the entire park, counter demonstrators as well. And we have coming in over here right now is a Virginia State Police spokesperson, Corinne Geller. Corinne's here with us now live. And Corinne, kind of walk us through what we're seeing here right now on the streets of East Market.
Well, due to the escalating violence of the situation, which you saw as the protesters were throwing various items at each other, shoving, getting into fistfights, as well as some actually assaulting one another. Due to that escalation of violence in the situation, the unlawful assembly was declared. And in accordance with law, that enables state police to then peacefully move people out of the park. The park is now empty, and enable folks to safely leave and hopefully peacefully leave, so that this will resolve peacefully from here on.
I know you've been with state police for quite some time. Have you ever seen anything quite like this before?
No, I haven't, and I don't think this is not a proud day for Charlottesville. It's not a proud day for Virginia to see two opposing groups who have sides, that they have a freedom of speech, but to turn to violence is not the way. We were hoping it would not turn to this, and unfortunately, both sides left us with no choice but to have to declare the unlawful assembly, to gear up in our protective tactical gear, and shut down the rally.
And watching really in real time now unfolding to see exactly what police are doing here with the counter demonstrators that had gathered here in Justice Park in Court Square where we are right now. We'll just...
And we see here a few people. I'm assuming that's Solidarity Charlottesville. They have Solidarity on their signs, and they very well... Let's listen in for a minute. You're getting a taste of what we heard at Emancipation Park earlier today before the violence broke out. But of course, these protesters, these people out here are primarily the people protesting the alt-right.
After a night of torchlit terror at the University of Virginia ended in a scuffle under the statue of Thomas Jefferson, supporters of the Unite the Right rally marched, some armed like a militia, into Emancipation Park to exercise their free speech right.
I'm just coming out here to support against the removal of the statue of Robert E. Lee.
I'm shaking right now. It's really kind of spooky.
But before the rally could even begin, violent clashes break out between supporters and counter-protesters. Police order everyone out of the park.
By authorities of the Commonwealth of Virginia, this event has been declared an unlawful assembly.
Virginia's governor declares a state of emergency, mobilizing the National Guard to respond to the chaos in Charlottesville.
I don't think this is not a proud day for Charlottesville. It's not a proud day for Virginia.
Tonight, a community prays for peace and hopes to heal following a day of hell. NBC29 team coverage starts right now.
First tonight, we are following a developing story. One person is dead in this horrific crash, which we have edited at the moment of impact. But watch it from a different angle here. Dramatic and upsetting video showing the moment a car plowed down 4th Street through the downtown mall. The driver backs up that one-way street and zooms away from the scene. Several people are hurt tonight. A crowd gathered around the injured, and people with medical training rushed in to help. At this point, authorities say one person is dead and 19 more injured.
The city's Commonwealth's attorney is treating this as a homicide case. We also understand the governor expected to join local authorities at the Albemarle County Office Building any minute now for a news conference. They want to talk about all of today's events, including that crash. We, of course, will bring that to you when it happens. We've also learned police arrested the person suspected of driving that car, but no word yet on who that person is. This is video of officers arresting the suspect on Monticello Avenue in Charlottesville. That whole scene played out just about 1:30 this afternoon along the 4th Street crossing, again on Charlottesville's downtown mall. Now, this is some drone footage as that impact happened. The silver Dodge Charger seemed to back up and then took a running start at a group of counter demonstrators as they tried to make their way up 4th and onto the downtown mall.
And just went flying everywhere, the pedestrians. And I mean, it's the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life.
There was blood all over the street. The car did not have any plates. Tinted out windows, we couldn't even see them. It seemed like it was planned.
Many of those people were laying at that scene while police and first responders rushed in to help. Happening right now, we have unconfirmed reports a state police helicopter is down in Albemarle County.
This is all happening on Old Farm Road that's near the Bel Air subdivision. NBC29's Casey Hott is on the scene of this breaking story with the details. Casey?
All right, hi Sharon and Matt. We are live in Charlottesville's Bel Air neighborhood right now. It's right near the Birdwood Golf Course here in Charlottesville. Again, no official word yet from police, but we have been told that state police has taken over this investigation, and we're waiting on a press conference very shortly. In the meantime, we've been talking with some neighbors who said they saw the helicopter go down as it happened.
We kind of saw like a billow of smoke, I guess, above the trees over there. My friend had just driven over and he was driving down 64 and he said he saw like a large billow of smoke kind of come up as he was coming over.
All of this, the clash between opposing groups took over the streets of Charlottesville even before that Unite the Right rally's scheduled noon start could get underway.
Take a look. The pro-white groups and counter demonstrators spent about 2 hours in repeated skirmishes on East Market Street. State police say people threw cans full of concrete at each other, along with pepper spray, tear gas. They used other weapons. Police declared an unlawful assembly just prior to the rally's official start time.
I don't think this is not a proud day for Charlottesville. It's not a proud day for Virginia to see two opposing groups who have sides, that they have a freedom of speech, but to turn to violence is not the way.
I'm just amazed that the police have allowed people to assault other people, to throw things at them.
Tonight, people, including criminal defense attorney Jeff Fogel, are questioning why it took police so long to intervene and call for that unlawful assembly. It is a question police have yet to answer.
Rally organizer Jason Kessler spoke to NBC29 this afternoon after all that violence unfolded. He talked with us on the phone from an undisclosed location, as he claims, due to safety issues.
The Charlottesville city government and police refuse to do their jobs. They refuse to protect our events and enforce the terms of the permit as ordered by the federal judge. They created an unsafe environment and denied us our rights.
Kessler had no comment when asked if he would attempt to have his rally again in the future, but in a video he posted online, he threatened to file another lawsuit. When asked, he told NBC29 he had no comment on the plans of the rally's supporters for tonight.
Several people on the other side of the rally who protested the alt-right also complained about the police action during that rally. Several clergy members joined arms at the edge of Emancipation Park to block any alt-right members from getting into the park. And at one point, a medic designated to watching the clergy described a scene that upset her a great deal.
Standing on the steps, and I watched the alt-right come up and assault the clergy. One was hit with a cardboard wooden banner that was made out of plywood, slammed a bunch of clergy aside, was hitting female and male clergy, and broke the line and went through. I wasn't sure that the police officers off to the side could see it, so I went over and I said, clergy are being physically assaulted right now. You need to go and stop. They are assaulting clergy. And the cops just shrugged, smirked, and refused to do anything about it.
Others complained when fights broke out, the police did not step in to stop the skirmishes.
The people who showed up to protest the Unite the Right rally spent weeks gearing up for all of this.
They came prepared with their chants, their signs, and for the possibility of violence. That is exactly what they got. These two groups that could not be further apart in their beliefs met for what became an ugly matchup. The familiar chant filled the air early on as protesters readied themselves for the main event. Members of the anti-alt-right had one goal: stop a rally they called the embodiment of hatred and racism.
We don't know if anybody's trying to come through here, but we're not going to move.
Clergy from across the country joined Congregate Charlottesville to resist the white activists.
We are here to be a pastoral presence to both counteract and confront white supremacy, to let folks know that we believe white supremacy is a system of sin, a system of evil, and we are going to do everything in our power to dismantle white supremacy.
The anger spilled out early on, just as the people attending the rally started to arrive, with the alt-right calmly entering the park at first. But that did not last long, and the fight started in earnest on Market Street.
What you're witnessing right here is two groups that despise each other, but the police are standing at least a block away. People are spraying pepper spray at one another. They're throwing bottles and rocks.
Both sides also used sticks and fists, and the street fights turned truly ugly. Then police began to mobilize, both on the ground and on a nearby roof. What happened next made protesters feel vindicated.
This gathering has been declared to be an unlawful assembly. In the name of the Commonwealth, you are commanded to immediately disperse. If you do not disperse immediately, you will be arrested.
Are you serious? I win! Get out!
Police forced the ralliers from the park because of the violence, which shut down the main event before it even started.
Before the rally violence broke out, NBC29 spoke with supporters of the Unite the Right rally. Groups started showing up there in Emancipation Park as early as 9 o'clock this morning. Unite the Right demonstrators packed the park shortly before noon. The rally was supposed to last 5 hours. Those we spoke with said they were here to protect their heritage, among other things.
I'm just coming out here to support against the removal of the statue of Robert E. Lee, along with the various groups here, Traditional Worker Party, Identity Europa, as well, to support for all of them.
The rally demonstrators arrived with shields, headgear, and paraphernalia, including flags and weapons.
After the unlawful assembly was declared at Emancipation Park, many of those white activists began making their way to McIntyre Park. A steady stream of them made their way down the 250 bypass and into McIntyre Park by the Brooks Family YMCA. A crowd of about 100 people gathered.
Concerned about is that they're all walking here, and I don't see a single police officer here. I don't see National Guard. I see a helicopter in the sky. And this is a family neighborhood, and I think that they should have preempted this and been ready for this.
By about 2:30 this afternoon, all that remained were just a few small groups of people standing around as Albemarle County Police and the state police watched over the park.
And after all that confusion, many stayed behind in Emancipation Park to clean up after this morning's protests. A small group mainly consisted of people not involved on either side of the rally. They wanted to make a difference and help the community get back to normal.